Oh my gosh, I couldn't find anything. All right. Lori and Kim here coming at you live to talk about today's topic is our top nutrition tips for women in midlife. And we each have three, maybe a little extra.
Bonus.
We might have some bonus ones too, but
Mhm.
we each came up with three different things, but we do all of them. So we each do them. So it's kind of interesting. Because I think things change as we get older, we get to midlife, hormonal changes, all the things. So I'm going to share my top three, then Lori's going to share her top three. And my first one is that I've learned that I have to set myself up for success for the day. So I try to get my dense nutrition in the morning. I always start with a big glass of water with electrolytes in it because I've been dehydrated overnight. And then I have mushroom coffee about an hour and a half later. It's very little caffeine, but it's got adaptogens in it and and minerals and things that help me, antioxidants. So I'm getting some of that. And then also I'll add a very mixable protein into my coffee. So it's kind of like my creamer. And that breaks my fast. And then I have a high protein breakfast. So I kind of set myself up that every day, set myself up that way. Um, Number two is I shifted my mindset on how I look at food. And I look at food is if it's inflammatory or anti-inflammatory. So I really focus on eating whole foods that are anti-inflammatory. And I think that's a big shift to make. And it's become very easy for me to do that. I can just look at something and say, oh,
Mhm.
I ain't gonna eat that Ritz cracker or whatever, it's not gonna serve me.
Right.
Um, Number three, I stop eating dinner or like probably 7 o'clock or before that if I can. And I'm dinner and done. I don't eat anything after dinner. So because I do have an intermittent fasting window, but I find those three things help me to maintain my health and my weight and how I feel. And I have energy. And I just feel like when you have some good nutritional strategies in place, it really helps you overall. So, Lori, you're going to talk about little few different things.
Yes. Now, one of the things that I know that any midlife woman is listening here is going to agree with is that our bodies definitely change as we age. What was working before doesn't necessarily work now. And I think that for me has been my biggest nutritional change through
Mm,
midlife. I can't eat the same things that I used to eat
right.
and not have a reaction in some form. I actually call it like a food coma, or, like when you used to drink a little bit too much and it took you a day or two to get over that. Well, I have the same things when I eat foods that aren't necessarily the same as what I used to eat before. Like it wasn't one Ritz cracker, it was pretty much half the sleeve of Ritz crackers. So for me, I really focus in on taking out those highly processed foods. I have them very occasionally. The only time basically that they do kind of creep into my diet is if I'm out with
Mm,
friends,
mm,
right? Or at a house where I'm not making the food or things like
right.
that. And I still look at them similar to what Kim says. Is that going to hurt or is that going to help? And it doesn't mean I say no, but it doesn't mean I say yes to the whole gamut of things that are
Right.
there. So those highly processed foods I truly like to limit and stick with the whole foods. One ingredient foods, meaning broccoli. It's not can be
Doesn't
a
have a like,
recipe, but certainly one ingredient foods.
yeah.
And then I am more focused now than I ever have been on protein. And it's not just because that's what we're hearing all over.
Mhm.
And that's part of it. But I know that I'm in the fitness industry. I need to, and I'm working out on a regular basis, and I have to maintain the muscles that I have. Plus, I want to continue to grow them. And so, in order to do that, I focus on making sure that I'm getting at least 30 grams of protein per meal.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's more than that. Sometimes I get a little bit, I'm a little hungry on my breakfast because that's after I work out. And
Yep.
it can be anywhere between 40 and 50 grams.
Wow.
Um, yeah. And so, and to me, it's just easy to do.
Yeah,
I've learned that it's really easy to make a high protein meal.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of confusion about how to do that out there. And we're certainly two people that you can reach out to and ask about that because we do it on the daily.
Right.
And then along with that protein is fiber, making sure that I'm able to get enough into my diet to help me digest the proteins that I do eat. I do have an issue, it's not diagnosed, but just in my own experimentation with digesting some animal meat. So I need to make sure, and it's for me, it is red meat. So
Oh,
I
wow.
experimented a while ago and I was only eating red meat once a week. And I noticed how much easier it was for me to digest other meats than it was red meat. And
Okay.
I love red meat, so that was like a oh. But if I make sure that I'm having enough fiber in my diet, that doesn't seem to be an issue. And I do supplement with digestive enzymes when I know that I'm going to have those types of meats so that I can, I don't get the bloating
Right.
or slow motility, that kind of stuff that happens. And then, you also mentioned starting your day. I mean, we certainly are going to overlap on a lot of things that we do. My day is always, always, always started with water. It's something that I teach my clients. Either
Mm.
have a water bottle right by your bed, or if you have coffee first in the morning, have that water ready before you drink your coffee. And that's a deal that I have with myself. Quote unquote, I'm not allowed to have anything before I drink my water. So before my coffee, before my pre-workout drink, I always have at least at minimum 8 ounces of water. Most days it's 16 ounces, and whether I have to chug it or not before I head out to the fitness center. So
Yeah.
definitely those things are the things that I have prioritized in these last few years of becoming a what we call midlife woman, and making sure that I'm supporting what my body is changing, how my body is changing throughout these years.
Yep. And it's funny, we were joking earlier about like, when does midlife end?
Yeah, I said I am midlife forever because I don't know. I don't know what's next.
I know,
So,
I know, I know. I guess so. I had telling Lori, I read a study. It was written by a British gentleman. He said in Britain, he said men enter old age at 69, but women, and they leave midlife then, but women are midlife until they're like 73. And I'm like, buying that,
yeah, we're taking that.
taking
But
that.
I
So
don't even know, what do they call it then after that?
senior, old age, I don't know, but I'm not Golden
We
Girl.
need, right, we need to make up a word that feels good. So,
We could do midlife plus plus plus.
yes, there you go. There you go.
Anyway,
Yeah,
well,
so I think there's a lot of, I did want to mention too. There's as midlife women, we are super active. Not everybody is, but Kim and I are super active in our lives and what we do. And one of the things that I do still, and I own a fitness center, is I still coach classes and they're in the evening. And so when I have that happening, I really have to plan what is I'm eating and when,
all
because
right.
I don't want to be going to bed with, food in my belly 2 hours before I go to bed, 2 hours before I go to sleep, because I don't want my body to have to focus in on digestion when I want it to, clear out all of the things happening in my brain and in the rest of my body. So I have to plan. And I think a lot of women, especially because we are juggling so many things, feel they don't have time to do those things. And it's not about having time, it's about having the skill to plan.
Yeah, good point. Great point, actually.
Yeah. And if you've ever been if you are a woman who is a mom, you've had to plan, like, especially in the young years of your kids' lives, super plan your life.
Mhm.
Um, so there's ways of doing it that I make sure that I have. The easiest thing is just to make sure you have the food on hand. Doesn't even mean you have to prep it. But if you're not going to the grocery store enough, obviously you're not going to have the food on hand. But there are certainly things that Kim and I can share with you to help if that's something that you feel that you just don't have time to do those things. We certainly can help you develop for you, based on your lifestyle, things that can work to help you be successful in those areas as
Yep.
well.
Yeah. And on that note, I want to talk about next week. We have a special guest that we're going to speak to who's a master fermenter. She ferments all her, I don't know if that's what she calls herself, but she ferments all her vegetables, which is very interesting. They're very
Yeah,
healthy probiotics for your gut. And I'm interested in learning that. I know
I'm
Lori,
excited to hear about
yeah,
that.
I
Yeah.
am too. So I want to see, but she only eats fermented vegetables and she ferments all her own veggies, which I think is pretty cool. So,
Well, I put some shaved Brussels sprouts in a jar in my fridge, and I think they're starting to ferment. So
are they
maybe I have it down.
probably,
Well, when I open the jar, it's like, oh,
find out.
yeah.
So we hope you enjoyed our
Yes.
talk today about top nutritional tips for women in midlife, and they can help you. And we will see you next week. In the meantime, have fun and live young, and we'll see you later.